The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of November 25, 2024 are here. Next week, fans can expect Phyllis Summers to receive a miracle for Thanksgiving. Chance Chancellor finds new evidence against Sharon Newman. Also, Jordan makes a risky move, but will Ian Ward really keep up his end of the deal? Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up next week in the CBS soap opera. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Michael Baldwin's new client. Y&R spoilers for the week of November 25 reveal that Nick Newman asked Michael Baldwin to defend Sharon. While Michael did get Sharon out on bail, she isn't exactly the most willing client. Sharon is determined to pay for her crimes, but she actually didn't kill Heather Stevens, Vale Bloom. Even if Sharon didn't commit murder, she did commit a long list of other crimes though. Y&R spoilers, Chance Chancellor's evidence. In any case, Michael will do his best to defend Sharon. That will be tough, especially since Chance discovers more damaging evidence pointing to Sharon. While fans know that Jordan and Ian Ward are targeting Sharon, nobody else realizes that yet. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Jordan's risky move. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the week of November 25 reveal that Jordan and Ian are already experiencing some tension. Jordan wants to hurry up and get revenge on the Newman family. However, Jordan still needs to get Ian proof of Sharon's loved one's reactions to her arrest. Ian is particularly interested in finding out how Mariah Copeland and Faith Newman reacted. So Jordan will have to take a big risk to deliver what Ian wants. Jordan could end up being recognized or seen, though. Y&R Restless spoilers, week of November 25, 2024. Just in time for Thanksgiving, it seems like Phyllis will get a miracle. As for Kyle Abbott, it looks like he could accept Diane Jenkins Abbott's peace offering. Fans should see what Billy Abbott plans to do next now that Jill Abbott has sold the company to Victor Newman. With Jordan on the loose, Claire Grace Newman could find out soon enough. However, will Kyle be busy supporting Summer Newman, which could put both Claire and Harrison Abbott at risk? Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most during the week of November 25, 2024? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers for Friday, November 22, reveal that Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, will think the sky's the limit now that Nikki Newman is taking over Chancellor. After Victor makes a big announcement about Nikki's leadership at the company, he'll expect his wife to do great things. Nikki will be excited about honoring Catherine Chancellor through her work and taking Chancellor to the next level. Speaking of taking things to the next level, that's what Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra seem poised to do at the athletic club. After a previous night out together, Sally rejected Billy's attempt to come inside her room for a nightcap since she just wasn't ready. However, Sally has grown closer to Billy since then, so she'll ultimately invite him in her room this time around. Y&R spoilers say Sally and Billy will sizzle in her suite, so it looks like they're on the verge of surrendering to temptation. Billy and Sally may ultimately land in bed together, so their romance should keep moving right along. Over with Chance Chancellor, he'll make a major discovery related to Sharon Newman's case. Chance will find some serious evidence that incriminates Sharon and backs up her confession. This should make it more challenging for Michael Baldwin to get Sharon off the hook, but he'll remain committed to pursuing an insanity defense, at least as long as she'll let him. Of course, Y&R fans know Sharon isn't really to blame for causing Heather Stevens' demise or Phyllis Summers' car crash. Jordan and Ian Ward have been orchestrating things behind the scenes, but it may be a while before Chance or anyone else figures that out. Following Phyllis awakening at the hospital, she'll no doubt have questions about what happened. Phyllis will ultimately be relieved to hear that Daniel's in the clear and that Sharon has been arrested. Though the fact that Sharon is out on bail may enrage her all over again, Michael's decision to take Sharon's case won't go over well with Phyllis either, so we'll bring you more predictions on the conflict that's brewing. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Phyllis will have a lot of stunning news thrown at her soon, so stay tuned for all the updates headed her way. Be sure to make CDL your #1 source for all the scorching Young and the Restless spoilers, predictions, updates, and news you need. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Friday, November 22, 2024. The air in Genoa City was thick with tension and uncertainty. Recent events had left the community reeling, alliances shifting, and old wounds reopening. As the city grappled with the fallout, the lives of its key players intertwined in unexpected and dramatic ways. Phyllis's awakening, a fragile hope. Phyllis Summers had finally awakened from her coma, but the road to recovery was anything but straightforward. As her eyes fluttered open, the room filled with concerned faces. Alina, her closest confidant, and various medical staff hovered nearby. However, Phyllis struggled to speak, her throat dry and unresponsive. Alina leaned in, her voice gentle yet firm. "Phyllis, you're awake. That's what matters. The rest will take time." Phyllis attempted to respond, but no words came. It was evident that her accident had caused significant nerve damage, leaving her unable to communicate verbally. The prognosis was uncertain. "Recovery depends a lot on your willpower, Phyllis. Stay strong," Elena encouraged. A vow of vengeance, Lucy and Daniel's pledge. In another corner of Genoa City, Lucy and Daniel Newman sat together in their dimly lit living room. The weight of recent tragedies pressed down on them. Tears streamed down their faces as they clung to each other, the pain of their losses too fresh to bear alone. "We can't let Sharon get away with this," Daniel whispered, his voice breaking. "She's responsible for everything that's happened." Lucy nodded, her resolve hardening. "We promise, no matter what it takes, we will make her pay for what she did to our mother." Their shared grief and anger forged a bond of determination. United in their quest for justice, they were willing to go to any lengths to avenge Phyllis and hold Sharon accountable. A strategic transition, Jill and Nikki's meeting. Meanwhile, in the heart of Chancellor Abbott Industries, a pivotal meeting was underway. Jill Abbott and Nikki Newman sat across from each other in a sleek, glass-walled conference room. The atmosphere was tense yet professional, with both women acutely aware of the significance of the discussion. Jill leaned forward, a rare smile playing on her lips as she presented a bouquet of flowers. "Congratulations, Nikki. You're the new CEO of Chancellor Abbott. This is a new chapter for the company." Nikki accepted the flowers, her expression a mix of surprise and apprehension. "Thank you, Jill. I'm honored. I promise to lead the company with integrity and strength." Jill's enthusiasm masked a deeper strategy. By transferring the CEO position to Nikki, Jill aimed to stabilize the company amidst ongoing chaos, ensuring Victor's interests were safeguarded. Her gesture, though outwardly celebratory, was a calculated move to maintain control and influence. Billy's confusion, a silent struggle. Billy Abbott watched the exchange between his mother and Nikki with a furrowed brow. He couldn't understand why Jill was so jubilant about selling the company to him. It seemed like another one of her manipulative moves, leaving him bewildered and silent. The complexities of his relationship with his mother weighed heavily on him, making it difficult to trust her intentions. He glanced around the room, hoping for some clarity, but found none. Instead, he felt a growing sense of isolation, his silence speaking volumes about his internal turmoil. Reconciliation of rivals, Jordan and Ian's new alliance. In a secluded part of town, Ian Ward and Jordan came together for a meeting that would change the course of their tumultuous relationship. The animosity that had once defined their interactions was now replaced with a tentative understanding. "We need to put our differences aside," Jordan began, her voice steady. "The chaos in Genoa City isn't benefiting either of us. It's time we focus on the bigger picture." Ian nodded thoughtfully. "Agreed. Personal gains won't solve the problems we're facing. Our enemies are more formidable, and we need to present a united front." By aligning their goals, Ian and Jordan aimed to dismantle the opposition threatening their interests, ensuring their adversaries, including the powerful Newman family, faced insurmountable challenges. The hidden threat, Victor's dilemma. Victor Newman, the patriarch of the Newman family, found himself at the center of shifting alliances and emerging threats. With his granddaughters Maria and Claire missing, the stakes had never been higher. Both women were being targeted by Ian and Jordan, whose vendetta against Victor had intensified. Despite their tumultuous relationships, Victor's concern for Maria and Claire was paramount. "Maria and Claire are out there somewhere," Victor declared, his voice resolute. "We need to find them before Ian and Jordan strike again." Victor convened meetings with trusted allies, including Abby Newman and Paul Williams, to strategize their rescue. The patriarch's resolve to save his family remained unshaken. A city on edge, the double abduction. The double abduction of Maria Copeland and Claire Newman had plunged Genoa City into panic. Maria, once a beacon of strength, had become a target of Ian's obsession. Meanwhile, Claire, determined to break free from her mother Jordan's shadow, became a symbol of defiance. Their simultaneous disappearances shocked their families and the community. Despite high security, both women vanished, indicating a meticulously planned operation. A fragile piece, Jordan and Ian's strategy. Back in their secret lair, Jordan and Ian solidified their alliance. Their past conflicts had left scars, but the urgency of their mission required unity. "We need to make sure our enemies fail," Ian stated, his eyes cold and calculating. "Their influence is too strong, and they've been a thorn in our sides for too long." Jordan nodded in agreement. "By taking down Maria and Claire, we send a clear message to Victor and the entire Newman clan. It's time they realize that we won't back down." Nick and Daniel's confrontation. In the grand living room, adorned with elegant furnishings and family portraits, Nick Newman stood facing Daniel, his expression a mixture of frustration and disbelief. The air was thick with unspoken accusations, each breath heavy with the weight of recent revelations. "You can't keep defending her, Nick," Daniel snapped, his voice shaking with pent-up anger. "Sharon killed Heather, and you expect me to stand by and watch you protect her?" Nick's eyes flashed with a combination of hurt and determination. "Sharon didn't mean to kill Heather. It was an accident, and she's been trying to make amends ever since. You can't just condemn her without understanding the full story." Daniel's fists clenched at his sides, his knuckles white. "An accident or not, someone has to pay for what happened. And as long as you shield her, you're no better than her." The room seemed to close in around them, the tension palpable. Friends and family members lingered on the edges, hesitant to intervene, but unable to ignore the escalating conflict. Elena, standing nearby, watched with a mixture of concern and frustration, knowing this confrontation was inevitable but wishing it could have been avoided. Connor's struggle, seeking peace amid chaos. Meanwhile, in a quieter part of the mansion, young Connor Newman sat alone in his room, staring blankly at the wall. The chaos of recent events had taken a toll on him, the constant turmoil in Genoa City leaving him feeling overwhelmed and scared. His parents' constant fighting, the uncertainty surrounding Sharon's actions, and the ever-present shadow of his mother's dark secrets had eroded his sense of security. "I can't take this anymore," Connor whispered to himself, tears welling in his eyes. "I just want to go back to school, to a normal life." Feeling suffocated by the tension at home, Connor made a difficult decision. Packing a small bag with essentials, he slipped out of the mansion under the cover of darkness, hoping to find solace and a semblance of normalcy away from the relentless drama that plagued his family. Claire's unsettling experience, trust shattered. Elsewhere in Genoa City, Claire, Victor Newman's granddaughter, was grappling with her own challenges. Earlier that day, as she hurried through her morning routine, she realized that items were missing from her bag: her wallet, phone, and a cherished locket that held sentimental value. Panic set in as she searched her belongings, her mind racing with possibilities. Who would do this? Claire muttered, frustration evident in her voice. Despite her anxiety, she found a small consolation. Her purse was still intact, a sign that the thief hadn't taken everything. It was a minor relief, but it did little to ease her growing unease. Her trust in Kyle, her boyfriend, had been waning for some time. Kyle had been distant, preoccupied with his own struggles, and Claire began to suspect that their relationship was faltering for reasons beyond mere neglect. The latest incident only cemented her doubts. Later that evening, Claire met Kyle at their favorite cafe, her heart heavy with the decision she was about to make. "Kyle, I think we need to end things," she began, her voice trembling. "I can't keep doing this. I need someone who can protect and support me, someone like Summer." Kyle looked stunned, hurt flashing across his features. "Claire, what's going on? Did something happen?" "No, it's not just about today," Claire replied, her eyes welling with tears. "It's everything. I need to be with someone who truly understands me, who can be there for me no matter what. Summer is that person." The conversation was painful but necessary. Claire knew that moving on was the right choice, even if it meant breaking Kyle's heart. As she walked away from the cafe, she felt a mix of sorrow and relief, hopeful that this difficult decision would lead her to a more stable and fulfilling future. Sharon's defense: love and loyalty tested. Back at the mansion, Nick struggled to reconcile his love for Sharon with the mounting evidence against her. His heart ached as he watched Daniel berate Sharon, but his loyalty to his wife held him firm. "Nick, you have to see reason," Daniel pleaded, his voice softer now but still filled with conviction. "She made a grave mistake. We can't let her actions go unpunished." Nick sighed, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "I understand how you feel, Daniel, but Sharon is my wife. I can't just turn my back on her like that. She's trying to make things right." Daniel shook his head, stepping closer. "Making things right requires accountability. Protecting her isn't helping anyone. It's only prolonging the pain and confusion." Nick looked into Daniel's eyes, seeing the genuine concern and anger there. It pained him to know that their friendship was unraveling over Sharon's predicament. "I can't abandon her, Daniel. Not now." The room seemed to grow colder as the two men stood at an impasse, their once unbreakable bond strained by the complexities of love, loyalty, and justice. Elena, sensing the depth of their struggle, placed a comforting hand on Nick's shoulder, silently urging him to find a way to bridge the growing divide. Jill and Nikki's strategic move: a new CEO. In another part of the mansion, Jill Abbott and Nikki Newman sat across from each other in a spacious modern conference room. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation as they prepared to make a significant announcement: the transfer of the CEO position at Chancellor Abbott Industries. Jill, usually the epitome of confidence and control, appeared unusually excited. She held a beautifully arranged bouquet of flowers, a gesture meant to celebrate Nikki's new role. "Congratulations, Nikki. This is a new chapter for Chancellor Abbott, and I couldn't think of anyone better to lead the company forward." Nikki accepted the flowers with a polite smile, though her eyes betrayed her uncertainty. "Thank you, Jill. I'm honored. I promise to lead with integrity and strength, ensuring that Chancellor Abbott continues to thrive." Billy Abbott, Jill's son, watched the exchange with a furrowed brow. He couldn't understand why his mother was so thrilled about selling the company to Nikki. It seemed like another one of Jill's manipulative moves designed to control and undermine him. His silence spoke volumes, revealing his internal conflict and growing resentment toward his mother's actions. Young and the Restless predictions wonder if Nick Newman believes the worst about Sharon Newman after her shocking confession, or if he will fight to prove she's innocent on the CBS soap. Sharon Newman confesses to Nick Newman on Young and the Restless. Recently, on Young and the Restless, Sharon Newman broke down and told Nick Newman everything. She couldn't bear to keep her awful secrets to herself anymore. So now Nick knows that Phyllis Summers was right. Sharon did, in fact, kill Daniel Rumolotti's girlfriend, Heather Stevens. Then, she planted evidence at his apartment, making him look guilty. No doubt, Nick was in shock. He could not wrap his brain around it. He couldn't believe such horrible things could be true about her on Young and the Restless. But she needed him to know and forced him to listen to her and accept the things she was saying. Indeed, he is still struggling with it. Nick turns on Sharon on My and R. Now, after hearing Sharon Newman confess to such horrible crimes, Nick Newman is having a hard time accepting it. He doesn't think she's capable of it and feels she must not have known what she was doing. Of course, Daniel Rumolotti doesn't feel that way. As far as he knows, Sharon murdered Heather Stevens and framed him for it. He wants justice and believes Sharon should do hard time in prison. Nick has decades of history with Sharon on Young and the Restless and knows her extremely well. She's not an evil person. However, new evidence against her turns up soon, and it might make Nick question her character. He could end up agreeing with Daniel that she belongs in prison, especially if this new evidence suggests she tried to kill Phyllis Summers. While there is a possibility he could turn on her, chances are Nick will know something isn't adding up. Young and the Restless prediction. Nick gets to the truth. Sharon innocent? Nick may realize something is not right and try to get to the bottom of Sharon's recent behavior. Now, will he and our viewers know the reason Sharon is acting so off? It all ties back to supervillains Ian Ward and Jordan Howard. Jordan is helping Ian destroy Sharon, and in return, he will help her get her revenge on the Newman family. So they messed with her medication, which had her acting erratically on Young and the Restless. And most likely, when she blacked out during her scuffle with Heather, Ian or Jordan Howard showed up and killed Heather. Of course, Sharon did plant evidence to set Daniel up. But she had Cameron Kirsten in her head. Plus, she was terrified of losing her family. Eventually, the truth will come out that Sharon's being set up, and Nick may be the one who investigates until he finds the truth. He might be the only one besides their children who knows there's more to the story. The only time Sharon's ever done anything out of character like this was when she burned down the Newman Ranch years ago. And that was because her bipolar meds were off. So Nick should know there's a reason for her behavior on Young and the Restless, and will probably start doing some digging. Maria and Faith in danger on My and R. Soon, Ian and Jordan are going after Nick and Sharon's daughters, Mariah Copeland and Faith Newman. Ian wants Sharon to lose everything, so the plan may be to kill her daughters. Furthermore, he will likely cause her to black out again and make her think she killed them to torture her further. If anything at all happens to the girls, Nick Newman will know it's not Sharon. She would never hurt her children on Young and the Restless. Chances are, he will expose the villains in their plans. And if Nick discovers Ian, it will all make sense. So instead of turning on her, he will probably be the person to end this nightmare. My and R is explosive. Keep watching to see if Sharon and Nick Newman's relationship suffers permanent damage, or if he'll hunt down the truth to exonerate her on the CBS soap. The Young and the Restless spoilers. In the bustling corridors of Genoa City, secrets have a way of surfacing, sending ripples through the lives of its inhabitants. The latest revelation comes from Sharon, a beloved yet enigmatic figure whose recent confession has set off a chain of events threatening to upheave the delicate balance of relationships and power within the community. As tensions rise and alliances are tested, The residents of Genoa City find themselves grappling with loyalty, justice, and the haunting shadows of the past. Sharon's dark confession, a shocking revelation. The tranquility of Genoa City was shattered when Sharon publicly confessed to the tragic death of Heather. Delivered with a mix of remorse and resignation, her admission has left friends and foes alike reeling. For years, Sharon maintained an air of innocence, her true intentions obscured by a facade of respectability. However, the truth, once buried, has now emerged, exposing the raw pain and complexity beneath her actions. Sharon's confession was not a simple declaration, but a tangled narrative of unintended consequences and misplaced vengeance. She revealed that Heather was not her intended target. Her original aim was to confront Daniel, Heather's husband, but Heather's impulsive behavior led to an unintended fatal outcome. This revelation adds layers of complexity to Sharon's character, painting her not merely as a murderer, but as someone driven by desperation and unforeseen circumstances. Daniel's wrath, the thin line between justice and vengeance. Daniel, devastated by the loss of his wife Heather, finds himself at the epicenter of this turmoil. Hearing Sharon's confession and understanding her true intentions ignites a storm of emotions within him. His grief is compounded by the revelation that Sharon's actions were meant for him, blurring the lines between victim and perpetrator. Consumed by rage and the desire for retribution, Daniel confronts Sharon in a moment of intense emotional volatility. In a heated confrontation, Daniel's fury nearly overwhelms him, leading him to physically assault Sharon. His grip on her throat symbolizes the immense pressure and internal conflict he faces, torn between the urge to seek immediate vengeance and the rational understanding that taking Sharon's life would only perpetuate the cycle of pain and hatred. This moment poignantly illustrates the human struggle between succumbing to primal instincts and upholding moral integrity. Nick's dilemma: loyalty versus justice. Amidst the chaos, Nick stands at a crossroads, wrestling with his conscience over whether to report Sharon's confession. His love for Sharon is profound, but so is his understanding of the gravity of her actions. Nick recognizes that shielding Sharon could inadvertently implicate Daniel and Phyllis, innocent individuals who have no part in the tragedy. This ethical quandary forces him to weigh his personal feelings against the broader implications of justice. Nick's internal battle is emblematic of the theme of loyalty versus morality that permeates Genoa City. His decision will not only affect his relationship with Sharon, but also the lives of those around him. The fear of being ensnared in a web of legal and emotional repercussions looms large, highlighting the complex interplay between personal relationships and societal responsibilities. The Witch returns, Harrison's ominous warning. Adding another layer of suspense, Harrison ominously declares that the witch has returned, alluding to Jordan. This cryptic statement has left the community bewildered, with many dismissing it as a product of an overactive imagination or excessive exposure to sensational content on YouTube. However, Claire, guided by an unsettling intuition, begins to investigate further. Claire's investigation, uncovering hidden truths. Claire's determination to protect her son drives her to delve into the mystery surrounding Jordan. Her instincts lead her to monitor Harrison and Jordan closely, seeking to uncover any hidden truths. As Claire digs deeper, she uncovers fragments of information suggesting that Jordan's behavior may be influenced by factors beyond mere obsession with online content. Her pursuit of the truth underscores the theme of maternal instinct and the lengths to which a parent will go to ensure their child's safety and well-being. Jordan's enigma, a character of many facets. Jordan remains an enigmatic figure within the storyline, his true motives and mental state shrouded in ambiguity. While some perceive him as a harmless yet eccentric individual influenced by the digital age, others suspect darker undertones. The tension surrounding his character adds an element of unpredictability, keeping both characters and viewers on edge. The looming confrontation, Claire versus Jordan. As tensions escalate, a confrontation between Claire and Jordan becomes inevitable. This clash is anticipated to be a turning point in the narrative, resolving lingering tensions and answering pressing questions. The impending confrontation represents the culmination of emotional and psychological battles endured by each character, blending themes of intuition versus reality and protection versus accusation. A community in turmoil, balancing personal and collective struggles. The unfolding drama in Genoa City mirrors the broader human experience, where personal struggles intertwine with collective challenges. Sharon's confession and the reactions it provokes highlight the complexities of forgiveness, justice, and the enduring impact of past actions. Looking ahead, the future of Genoa City. As the dust settles, the residents of Genoa City must navigate the aftermath of Sharon's confession and the chaos it unleashed. Will Nick choose justice over loyalty? Can Daniel find peace amid his grief and anger? And what secrets will Claire uncover in her quest to protect her son? The impending confrontation between Claire and Jordan promises to be a defining moment, one that could bring clarity or plunge the community deeper into uncertainty. Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, November 21 indicate some major moments in Genoa City as November sweeps continues to roll on. Next on Young and the Restless. One person is left with a challenging choice, while an expert chimes in with some options, and someone makes a sacrifice for their family. What kind of drama is set to unravel on Thursday? Time to dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Summer Newman's tough decision. Y&R spoilers for Thursday, November 21 reveal that Summer Newman will be forced to make a hard decision. Is this about Phyllis Summers' condition, or could this be about her relationship with Chance Chancellor? After all, Summer had asked Chance to investigate Sharon Newman when her mom alleged that the woman might have something to do with Heather Stevens' murder, but he did not. Could Summons break up over this now that Sharon has confessed? Only time will tell. Y&R spoilers, Elena Dawson shares her expert opinion. Meanwhile, Y&R spoilers for Thursday, November 21, imply that Elena Dawson will share her expert opinion to help Phyllis. As Phyllis is in a coma, and she has a history with comas, could Elena believe that Phyllis should be moved out of the hospital and placed in a facility? Is that the tough decision Summer is struggling with? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Diane Abbott's sacrifice. Lastly, Y&R spoilers for Thursday's show reveal that Jack Abbott will learn about a family sacrifice Diane Abbott has made. Is this about her acquiring Glissade? Fans recently learned that Dak's separation was nothing but a rouse to bring Kyle Abbott back to Jabot. Diane took one for the team and presented herself as a scheming manipulator when she was not. Is this the sacrifice that this spoiler is referring to? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Are you excited about Thursday's episode? Join the conversation below. The Young and the Restless spoilers recap for Thursday, November 21, reveals that Elena Dawson will support Daniel Romalotti Jr. as he deals with guilt over Phyllis Summers' situation. After Elena tries to convince Daniel that it's not his fault, Lucy Romalotti will pop up and do the same. Daniel will share a happy reunion with Lucy following her return to Genoa City. As Lucy chats with an unconscious Phyllis, she'll tell her grandma stories about a boy named Scotty that she met while touring with Danny Romalotti. At Crimson Lights, Kyle Abbott will have faith that a car crash can't keep someone like Phyllis down. After Kyle's pep talk, Summer Newman will touch his hand tenderly and offer gratitude. Chance Chancellor will walk in and witness the close moment, so he'll seem a little uneasy. Once Kyle leaves, Summer will admit that she believes Phyllis' current predicament is Chance's fault. Summer just won't know if she can get past this, since Chance settled on Daniel as the culprit and refused to look into Sharon Newman as a suspect instead. Chance will argue that he had to follow the evidence and that the investigation was ongoing. When Chance admits he wouldn't have done things differently and says he didn't make a mistake, Summer will rant about him arresting an innocent man. After Summer suggests they shouldn't see each other for a while, she'll storm out and leave Chance looking glum. At the hospital on Thursday's I and R episode, Summer will join Daniel and Lucy in Phyllis' room. Lucy will urge Phyllis to wake up now that everyone's there and will eventually ask for a moment alone with her grandmother. While Daniel and Summer are talking elsewhere, Lucy will stress how much Daniel needs Phyllis and will give her a friendship bracelet. After Phyllis opens her eyes, Lucy will quickly call Summer and Daniel back into the room as they all rally around her. At the Abbott mansion, Billy Abbott will give Jack Abbott updates on Jill Abbott, betraying him by selling Abbott Chancellor to Victor Newman. Billy will also make a pitch to become Jack's second in command at Jebot and will hope to make a comeback there. Although Billy will be desperate for a lifeline, Jack will have to turn him down. Billy won't understand why, but Jack will suggest things will become clear in a few days. That explanation won't be good enough for Billy, who'll assume this is about Jack thinking he's a screw-up as usual. Later, Jack will meet with Diane Jenkins Abbott, so she'll hear the news about him having to reject Billy's job request. Diane will still want to give Kyle the co-CEO seat, but Jack will make a prediction about nothing changing if Kyle can't prove he's learned his lesson. At the GCAC, Billy will open up to Sally Spectra about the latest drama with Jack, so she'll offer a sympathetic ear. After some flirting and joking around, Billy will ultimately lean in for a passionate kiss with Sally. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sally and Billy are on the verge of heating things up, so stay tuned. For the Thursday, November 21 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoilers photos show that Daniel feels guilty while Summer seems hurt by something Chance says. These images preview some big moments that you will not want to miss. Scenes from Genoa City. Daniel sits beside a comatose Phyllis. He regrets that he didn't believe his mom about Sharon setting him up for Heather's murder. Later, Lucy and Summer join him at Phyllis' bedside. Will she wake up? So far, Alina lets them know that doctors have done all they can for her. Now, it seems it's just a waiting game. Her family certainly hopes to see her open her eyes. At the Abbott mansion, Billy and Jack clash. Billy isn't at all thrilled with his brother, especially now that Victor has gotten Jill to sell him Chancellor. After all, Victor did all that partially to get revenge on Jack. Of course, it's not like Victor likes Billy any more than he likes Jack. At Crimson Lights, Chance tells Summer something she seems surprised to hear. Perhaps he's not fully sold on Sharon's confession. Kyle comes in, and Chance leaves. Kyle and Summer sit down together, and they talk. She looks sad, but Kyle manages to make her smile at least a little. Billy joins Sally at the bar at the Genoa City Athletic Club. He seems incredulous at something she says. He gets in his feelings too as he drinks some alcohol. Will Billy realize what he needs to do? The Young and the Restless scoop for Thursday, November 21, reveals Phyllis Summers will come out of her coma. Also coming up, Daniel Romalotti will be thrilled when Lucy Romalotti returns. Plus, Jack Abbott will try to reason with Diane Jenkins, and Summer Newman will blame Chance Chancellor for her mom's accident. I and R spoilers tease Billy Abbott will tell Jack that Jill Abbott is ill, but not so ill that she couldn't jump on a plane and stab him in the heart. She handed Abbott Chancellor to Victor Newman, so Jack will ask if he wants payback on Victor. I and R Daily Scoop. Summer tells Chance everything is his fault. Damn right I do, Billy will reply, but he'll say he's thinking in practical terms. He knows Jack needs a strong second in command at Jebot. I can start the job on day one, he'll add. We work well together, so this is a win-win, but Jack will tell him he's sorry he can't. Billy will storm off to the GCAC bar and run into Sally Spectra. She'll tell him he looks even worse than the last time she saw him. "Flattery will get you everywhere," he'll reply. He'll add their friendship is the only positive thing he has in his life right now. As for Jack, he'll head to the park, which has turned into a gaudy green screen. He'll meet with Diane and try to convince her not to give up her position at Gibbot for Kyle Abbott. "I'm just not sure Kyle would appreciate it," he'll add. "If Kyle can't put all of this behind him, then he can't come back to us." Meanwhile, Summer will run into Kyle at the coffee house and say she's worried about her mom. She'll admit she's not sure if anyone in her family will ever forgive Sharon Newman for what she's done. Kyle will say she should be focusing on a positive outlook and that Phyllis Summers will pull through. "Thank you for reminding me of that," she'll say. Then Summer will take Kyle's hand, just as Chance walks in. He'll approach and ask Summer how her mom's doing. Kyle will leave and Chance will get a chilly vibe from his girlfriend. Summer will say her mom's not doing well. "And honestly, Chance, the more I think about it, the more I think this is your fault." Chance will say he was just doing his job, but she'll tell him he wouldn't listen to her mother, wouldn't even consider Sharon as a suspect. Chance will tell her they're going to have to find a way to get past this, but she's not sure if she wants to. Young and the Restless Scoop. Daniel is grateful his daughter is home. "You should have been open to hearing other options," Summer will tell him. Chance will say if he had to do it all over again, there'd be nothing he'd do differently. "I don't think you get it. These last few weeks have been hell for my entire family, and I wish I could have leaned on you," she'll reply. Summer will say all she feels when she sees him is anger. "I don't think we should see each other for a little while." At the hospital, Daniel will tell Elena Dawson he feels responsible for his mother's accident. This can all be traced back to one event, the night that Cassie Newman died. He'll add it's triggered a lot of events that have happened recently. But Elena will say it sounds like Sharon was responsible for this, not him. Daniel will tell her if he hadn't gotten drunk that night, Cassie and even Heather Stevens might still be alive. Elena will advise him to stop blaming himself for everything that's happened in the past. Then Lucy will walk in. She'll embrace her dad and then sit at Phyllis' bedside. Lucy will tell her grandmother a story about a boy named Scotty, who she met while she was on Danny Romolotti's tour, but she'll tell her dad she wishes she'd been around for him. Summer will arrive and she and Daniel will give Lucy a moment alone with Phyllis. Finally, Lucy will tell her grandmother she needs her to wake up. Lucy will put one of her friendship braces on Phyllis' wrist. Then she'll call out for her dad. Daniel and Summer will run into the room and see that Phyllis has opened her eyes. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, November 21, answer the question, where has Elena been all this time? With, wandering around the hospital, waiting for somebody to need her. Now Phyllis needs her, so here she is. Doctor's orders. Phyllis is doing her coma thing, waiting for everyone to feel sorry enough for her. Then she can wake up and remind them that she was right and they were wrong, and why people don't love her the way Phyllis deserves. But before that can happen, she needs some medical attention. That's when Elena comes in. Elena says Phyllis needs some doctor's care. All Phyllis wanted was for someone to take her seriously. Mission accomplished. Of course, Elena's news for Phyllis' family may not be what they'd hoped to hear. Choose wisely. Pity poor Summer. Her mom is in the hospital, her brother just lost his partner, her ex-stepmother just confessed to killing said partner, and to possibly putting said mom in the hospital, and Summer's boyfriend is at the center of it all as, it would seem, the only cop left in Genoa City. Should Summer be hitting Chance up for details? Should she be supporting him when he doesn't think the case is as closed as everyone would like to think? Should she be there for her dad, who still loves Sharon, no matter what, or should she join her brother in calling for Sharon's head? Plus, Kyle is about to launch into yet another tantrum, and that's bound to affect Harrison, which will affect Summer. What is she supposed to do? Sacrificial mom. Diane was willing to let Jack and Kyle call her horrible names in public if it meant helping her son see that his mentor was using him. Jack thought she'd already made all the sacrifices for their son, but there was one more sacrifice from Diane that Jack wasn't aware of. It would seem she will step down as CEO at Jabot as a peace offering to Kyle. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Nick Newman may have a chance to play the hero as Jordan and Ian Ward's scheme heats up. I&R could be positioning Nick for a dramatic rescue plot that'll end with one final face-off with the villainous duo. Nick already senses that maybe things aren't quite as they seem when it comes to guilty Sharon Newman. Despite Sharon's confession, Nick feels like there has to be another layer to all this, and he's right about that. Since Nick suspects this all goes back to Sharon's altered medications, he'll inevitably be proven right. Jordan and Ian may be responsible for Sharon's disturbing path if they're the ones who messed with her meds. However, Nick could do more than help rescue Sharon from prison. Perhaps Nick could ultimately help rescue Sharon's daughter, along with Victoria Newman's daughter, when a hostage crisis erupts. I&R spoilers indicate that Mariah Copeland and Claire Newman will become major targets down the road. Ian and Jordan will go after them both, so who will save Claire and Mariah when the time comes? It's easy to imagine Nick taking the lead here. There's no way Nick will let Sharon face the devastation of losing another child, so he'll certainly be motivated to step up and save Mariah from a fatal outcome. Of course, Nick won't want Victoria to lose the daughter she finally found again either. Claire has become an important part of the Newman family, so Nick will surely fight to protect her too if this turns into a rescue situation. Nick might get some help from people like Cole Howard and Victor Newman, but he could still lead the charge when it comes to saving the day. Bottom line, if Mariah and Claire get stuck in a hostage crisis, thanks to Ian and Jordan's twisted ways, they're going to need a hero. We'll bring you more predictions on whether Nick will fill that role as the storyline moves along. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Nick will get updates on some jaw-dropping news somewhere down the line, so don't miss all the Jordan and Ian revelations that are looming. The Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that one of Sharon Newman's biggest worries about confessing to Heather Stevens' murder was losing Nick Newman for good. She went ahead and did it anyway, and in an interesting turn of events, it seems as if the chic bond might be stronger than ever. Could this rub Summer Newman the wrong way? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Summer Newman could resent her father. Y&R spoilers hint that animosity will rise when it comes to Phyllis Summers, her children, and Nick. Sharon's confession not only pointed to being responsible for Heather's demise, but she also admitted she was trying to frame Daniel Romalotti. Daniel's life got flipped upside down when he found out he lost Heather. Getting arrested for her murder added insult to injury. Plus, poor Lucy Romalotti was sent away to avoid the chaos and drama. She didn't even get the chance to attend her own mother's memorial. It's natural for Daniel, Phyllis, and Summer to be upset with Sharon and her actions, but how will they feel toward Nick? Nick may not be overly upset that Phyllis and Daniel are disappointed, but how will he feel about Summer? The two have always been super close. Y&R spoilers. Will this cause a rift between Summer and Faith Newman? This situation also complicates things between Summer and her half-sister, Faith Newman. For the most part, the sisters have stayed out of their mother's drama, but due to the nature of the situation, it looks like they'll get dragged in. Nick has always been an excellent father and supportive ex-husband. He's continued to do his best to stay present within both blended families, but as Phyllis and likely Summer will have a "if you're not with me, you're against me" attitude, could Summer end up cutting both Nick and Faith out of her life for good? Will this situation place a wedge between Summer and Nick? Join the conversation below. Young and Restless is coming off a week of epic drama that saw the returns of baddies Jordan Howard and Ian Ward, major shifts on the corporate front, Sharon's confession to killing Heather, a car crash that left Phyllis's life in the balance, and more. Soap Opera Digest checked in with the show's head writer/executive producer, Josh Griffith, for the inside scoop of what fans can expect next for the citizens of Genoa City. Double trouble. It's been fun. The exit grins of unfurling the twist that Sharon did not, in fact, kill Heather. Rather, Jordan and Ian had teamed up to plot against her. We always knew going in that there was going to be another killer, Griffith confides. Sharon was not going to be a murderer. That's why we very carefully laid it out, so that we did not see the actual murder, and we had her wake up and find Heather's body. As for the critical step of determining who did do it, I knew that it needed to be somebody who not only we could come up with motive for the killing, but that also the reveal would be massive, Griffith notes. It wouldn't just be, oh, who's that? And I started looking into, historically, who had a beef with the Newmans. And we landed on Ian Ward, and then I started thinking. I actually watched Strangers on a Train, the Hitchcock film, because I'm a Hitchcock fanatic. I hadn't watched it in a while, and I started thinking about the idea of crisscross, which is important in that movie. You do my crime, and I'll do yours. And I said, wouldn't it be interesting if Ian had an accomplice that equally needed something to happen because they were angry and they felt they'd been wronged? And I said, well, we've got Jordan in prison. In a nutshell, the idea is that these two wonderful villains, who both have reasons to want revenge in Genoa City, would find each other and team up. It seemed perfect, and that this murder could be the catalyst for the whole thing. As we were putting the pressure on Sharon, and we were slowly starting to reveal that things were not exactly as she thinks they are, at the perfect point, we would then reveal to the audience these two mastermind criminals. They must be behind it. They must have something to do with it. Eagle-eyed viewers had noticed from the start that Sharon had no conscious memory of committing murder, and Griffith says that was by design. As I was crafting it, I said, I'm hoping they're gonna say, wait a minute, something's off here. She woke up and found the body. So that fans keyed into that. I was delighted. Griffith was also delighted at the prospect of seeing the actors who portray Ian and Jordan, Ray Wise and Colleen Zank, tearing up the scenery together. I said, these two are gonna be just absolutely delicious together. And the ramifications throughout Genoa City as we slowly reveal their plans. It is just going to be a powder keg of excitement. While Sharon may be off the hook for murder, her hands aren't exactly squeaky clean, as she has worked to pin her crime on Daniel. Assures Griffith, I knew that was going to be a tricky move to play, but once other levels of what's happened to her, and what Ian and Jordan have set in motion come to light, fans can be able to breathe another sigh of relief. To preserve the secret, Y and R's creative team took extra precautions to make sure the villains' returns didn't leak before they were shown on air. We were very careful that the characters' names didn't appear in scripts or in any kind of internal documents, he reports. But this is a team that understands the importance of keeping the secret under wraps, he notes. Our team knew. We've got to sit on this because the reveal is going to be too great. We've got a good group here that knows how to keep a secret. It took little coaxing to get Zank and Wise on board with making comebacks. Colleen was just waiting for the call, he says. It's been so recent since she was last on, and she was like, when can I come back? When can I come back? And when I told her, she was very excited. Making the overture to Wise marked Griffith's first interaction with the actor. I hadn't met Ray, because I wasn't here the last times that he was here playing Ian, he explains. And it was such a thrill for me to meet him, because this is Leland Palmer from Twin Peaks. So I got him to tell me all kinds of David Lynch, the legendary co-creator and co-executive producer of Twin Peaks and celebrated film director stories, and it was a great meeting. And then I told him what I was planning, and he was delighted. Innocent act. On Friday's episode, Sharon, distraught and panicked, thinking that she was responsible for Phyllis's car wreck, confessed to Nick that she killed Heather. Why was it time for her to confide in someone with an actual pulse, and not only discuss her misdeeds with a hallucinated version of Cameron? Says Griffith of Sharon's fragile state of mind. She's been holding it together. But then every time she thinks she's in the clear, something else happens. Now, she's worried that maybe she ran Phyllis off the road, and it's just gotten to a point where she can't keep it in anymore. And she knows the one person who is going to understand what she's gone through has got to be Nick. And he adds, "It was very important for me that in the moment where she is now confessing, we are also revealing to the audience, okay, there's another level to this, and she may be confessing, but we know that she didn't do it." The Sharon/Phyllis rivalry has been revving back up as Phyllis seeks to prove that Sharon is the reason her son Daniel stands accused of killing Heather. Making Nick and Phyllis integral to the next arc of Sharon's story was a top priority for Griffith as he laid out how the plot is going to unfold. The whole genesis of this charts back to the night Cassie died, and that loss of Cassie is what propelled Nick and Phyllis to have an affair, he reminds. It all goes back to that moment, and there was no question that they had to be key players in this next arc. Them and Daniel. And to hear Griffith tell it, even a massive car crash isn't going to keep Phyllis from trying to save her son. We've now gotten to a point where, in Phyllis's mind, Sharon has tried to ruin Daniel's life, and now it's come all the way to her being targeted, to the point where she's even tried to kill me. So Phyllis is just going to be a firebrand of anger and desire to see Sharon pay, until, he hints, something throws another wrench into that. Get ready, I've got a couple more wrenches to throw. As for Nick, he can't quite bring himself to believe that Sharon is actually capable of having offed Heather. I think that he knows that something is off with her. He knows something is wrong, Griffith assesses, but in his gut, he can sense, because of their history and their connection, that it's not of her doing. He senses that there's an outside force, because there's no way, even in her darkest periods of psychological trauma, does he believe that she would go to this place. He adds, Nick's suspicion is the right suspicion. He's the only one who really has the true right instinct as to what's going on, because their connection is that strong. But is that connection the result of their years of history, or could it speak to a possibly romantic rekindling for Nick and Sharon? Teases Griffith, I think it could possibly be all of the above. Danger Zone. My and our audiences will learn more this week about the dastardly agenda that Jordan and Ian intend to carry out where Sharon is concerned. But should other Genoa City residents be watching their backs? Do the duo have other targets in their crosshairs? It's the entire Newman family, declares Griffith. They all need to watch their back. But I think Mariah and Claire, specifically. Ray Wise is thrilled to be back on Young and Restless as his legendary baddie, Ian Ward, 8 long years, as he told Insider in a new interview, since his initial daytime Emmy-winning run from 2014 to 2015 and a return trip to the show in 2016. Wise's comeback was kept a big secret with scripts, and even his parking space on the CBS lot, referring to him only as Mr. X now that cat is out of the bag, and the actor couldn't be happier. Back in Genoa City again. In remembering the first stint he had on the show in which he tortured a lot of folks and won a daytime Emmy in the guest performer category for it, Wise fondly recalled to the website, I worked with Justin Hartley, ex-Adam Newman, as my partner in crime. He is now the star of Tracker. And my confrontations with Victor Newman, played by Eric Braeden, I always enjoyed. He's one of my favorites. The actor is thrilled to have a new favorite partner in crime, Colleen Zink, who portrays poor Claire's crazy Aunt Jordan. She's been wonderful, Wise said. She's a veteran of many, many years, and I certainly appreciate everything that she's done in the past. We just have the greatest time together. Jordan has already had her own turn at going head-to-head with Victor Newman, and now the two are secretly immersed in a grand scheme to once again wreak havoc on the unsuspecting citizens of Genoa City. As the show's executive producer/head writer, Josh Griffith, explained to Digest, they were the ones behind what happened to Heather, with the intent of it driving Sharon to confess so that she will be separated from her children. That part of their plot is pure Ian, and he is hungry for all the gory details about how miserably Maria and Faith are reacting to discovering that their mom is a killer. But there will eventually be quid pro quo, with Ian helping Jordan get revenge against her targets. On Wednesday's episode, viewers learned that Ian was released from prison and can roam about freely, and he arranged for Jordan's freedom, the details of which we don't exactly know, but she has to remain disguised. The Young and the Restless spoilers revealed that many fans were overjoyed to see the return of a villainous duo. Naturally, we're talking about devious Jordan and the equally conniving Ian Ward now that they're scheming together in Genoa City. In a new interview with Sod, Y and our head writer and executive producer Josh Griffith admitted that Sharon Newman was never intended to be Heather Stevens' actual killer. Sharon was not going to be a murderer, Griffith said. That's why we very carefully laid it out so that we did not see the actual murder, and we had her wake up and find Heather's body. Josh Griffith eventually settled on Jordan and Ian's surprise partnership, which became a major revelation for the audience. The goal was for the audience to see these criminal masterminds together and immediately know they must be to blame. Griffith confessed that he was pleased with fans who quickly realized something was off about Sharon blacking out before discovering the body. It was supposed to be a huge clue that things weren't quite as they seemed. Of course, Sharon isn't totally innocent, at least based on what's played out so far. We can't forget that Sharon got rid of the body and ultimately framed Daniel Romalotti Jr. to make it look like he was responsible for Heather's demise. On social media, plenty of viewers have been pointing all that out and insisting they're not willing to give Sharon a total pass. Sharon may not be guilty of wiping Heather off the map or causing Phyllis Summers' crash, but she still played a huge role in Daniel and Lucy Romalotti's suffering. However, Josh Griffith insisted more twists are coming that'll help undo the damage to Sharon's character. If you're feeling like Sharon's character has been ruined, or at least derailed significantly, just give the show a little time to turn things around. I knew that was going to be a tricky move to play, but once other levels of what's happened to her and what Ian and Jordan have set in motion come to light, fans can be able to breathe another sigh of relief, Griffith promised. It sounds like Jordan and Ian may have had a hand in Sharon's altered meds fiasco and driven her down this out-of-control path. Sharon clearly hasn't been in her right mind, so it may be revealed that Ian and Jordan are to blame for that too. Our Y and R predictions point to Sharon facing tons of shocking news once the depth of Ian and Jordan's deception is exposed. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Sharon's character will undergo a major cleanup as even more revelations come to light. So stick with us for updates on all shockers ahead. The Young and the Restless spoilers